It's Bridget Purdue, music director for Alumni Theater Company, and we are so excited to have Ashley Comans here with us from the Alliance for Police Accountability. So we decided that we were going to switch things up, and for our community corner and talking about making a change, bring to you a live video. How you doing, Ashley?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about the Alliance for Police Accountability.
Thank you. We're so excited to have you. Can you tell me, how did APA get started?
Yeah, so APA was started back in 2010. The city of Pittsburgh police actually brutally beat a Kappa high school student by the name of Jordan Miles.
I remember that.
Yeah, so folks, I'm sure do, especially if you're from the city. So there was a cry from the community for answers, and also a lack of direction just on how to demand justice. So it was out of pure community need that this organization was created, so that we can advocate effectively for those who are most counted out and ignored. And yeah, that's how it kicked off. And, unfortunately, it's unfortunate that the work is rooted in, things that we wish we didn't have to deal with, but it's necessary work. So
yeah, for sure. I know it's just as relevant, if not more relevant today than it was 10 years ago. I definitely remember hearing about Jordan Miles and, seeing the news articles and the fight and the ongoing, it's a lot. So that's cool. I didn't know that's how y'all started.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Do you want to say anything more about maybe the mission or the purpose behind it?
Yeah, so from, a situation like that, ultimately the mission for APA is to bring the community, the police, and our government officials who make the laws and policies that we abide by to be in a good working relationship. And that relationship should help put an end to racial profiling, police brutality, and just any injustice that the legal system we see every day. And we do that through advocacy, education, and policy. So that's the way we work to tackle our issues.
That's dope. I love that. I definitely do. And the idea of relationship, right? It's like, you don't know me, I don't know you. And so there's already this barrier here, but I like the word alliance, right? And holding the police accountable to actually policing our communities the right way. So that's really dope. What is some of the work that APA is most proud of?
So, considering this work has been happening over such a pretty significant time span now, we're most proud of our advocacy for victims of police violence, and also our way that we can work to affect change by tackling issues from the root cause. So families and individuals through our advocacy have been awarded over $5.5 million with our advocacy against police violence. But that's not the only type of justice we seek, because money can't bring anything back or change what has happened. But we really want to see systemic changes happen in our communities. Also, some other work that we have done in the Woodland Hills School District. There was a really big case that had made national news with policing in the schools, as well as some of the administrators, the teachers. And so we're proud that we were a part of the reason that an abusive principal was removed, and also a catalyst for replacing 4 school board members. So currently the district is in a much better place, and their current principal, who happens to be a Black man, is ensuring that the students' education and their well-being is placed first. I personally love to see Facebook posts from Principal Woods. It's always, encouraging. And so we also focus on civic engagement too. We know that we need to be engaged in our communities. We need to be voting every single year, twice a year. There's messages that we want to make sure we keep clear in our communities, and especially Black communities, because after this past election, we see what happens when we show up at the polls. Pennsylvania, we flipped again. So that work is really important if we want to see the changes that we need to have in our state and across our country. And currently we do have a really big initiative happening for getting 2 ballot initiatives on the upcoming May primary ballot. So one of our initiatives is Allegheny County-wide, and that is to virtually ban solitary confinement in the county jail. And we are also collecting petition signatures for the city of Pittsburgh, specifically for Breonna's law, which would ban no-knock warrants in the city of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So both of those things are trying to get to the root of some issues that are happening within the system.
100%. 100%.
And, this is a way that the community can once again use their voices to let those who are in positions of leadership know what changes that we want. So it's a lot of work, though. We need a lot of signatures. So we're definitely putting the word out there. We're on track. The number of signatures that we are gaining every day is moving as planned.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we just got to keep spreading the word.
I love it. I definitely do. And I feel like so many times when you see, they got, I remember my one friend said that her mom called her up and said they got another one. And just knowing what that meant and the heaviness that is, and how the cycle keeps repeating, and it can feel just so heavy, right? And it's just like this darkness. So, I mean, all of the work that you're doing and seeing that it's making a difference. And, I've seen Brandy and everybody, your whole crew out in the streets and, protesting all throughout the summer. And yes, picket sign, make your voice heard too, and make your voice heard at the ballot box, making your voice heard in electing judges and all of those things too. So I like the 360 approach that you guys have. I just found out more about the solitary confinement. One, ATC just did a show. It's called Act 33, and it was written by juvenile, minors that are in the Allegheny County Jail, which I honestly didn't know that they had minors in jail. And it wasn't until recently that they even separated minors from adults in county. And the young people going through solitary confinement, it was definitely deep. I encourage people to check out Act 33 and get educated on that. But I'm so happy to hear that that's what you guys are trying to work for, to be on the ballot. Yeah,
I mean, it is inhumane, in my opinion.
Period.
I think a lot of people's, and things like ballot initiatives too, we hope are good at activating the community, because especially in a off year election, an odd year election, where people don't really think we need to go vote because you don't have these huge candidates like a presidency. But when you can put an issue based motivator on the ballot, like being able to potentially ban solitary confinement, or, push through Breonna's law, that in itself will get people to go out and, get to the polls.
Right.
We have to show up every year.
100%. You're right. And I think that's true, because I've heard, particularly through this last election cycle, my vote doesn't matter. It's all rigged anyway. You know what I mean? There's so much voter suppression just in the ideology, but still knowing this is what's going to be on the ballot. So even if I'm doing this in the primary, I don't believe in that, knowing that I'm making my voice count towards ending solitary confinement and ending no-knock warrants. So I hope that does get on the ballot. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm curious to know too, I mean, there's a lot of good, but I'm sure you've experienced a lot of challenges with this work.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely challenges. So those who are in power aren't always happy about our focus on systemic changes. So you have to navigate in politics in an unconventional way. And we're unapologetic about what we believe in, holding our elected officials and government officials, people who are in charge and have the power to make decisions, we have to make sure they're doing the jobs to serve us. So when we have issues within our criminal legal system that people we've decided on are pushing forward and enforcing these laws, make sure that they're not, not make sure, because we know they're set up for certain folks to fail, but we've got to dismantle those systems. So
right.
We challenge white supremacy in our work, because we know that is that's a part of the root of the issue. Yeah, and
huge. I mean, just the words challenge white supremacy. I think people try to hide from white supremacy, or get mad at white supremacy, but to have the audacity to challenge it,
Yeah. And I mean, I think we witnessed that, just recently at the Capitol, and when we do that, we also want to make sure we are centering the people that we're serving and prioritizing the needs of just everyday people, like humanity. We've got to make sure we focus on providing needs when everything is rooted in a capitalist, society. And so it's not welcomed, and that's expected. And right. If we want the change, we have to fight for it. We have to demand it. And also, we're in a nonprofit space. So another challenging part in the nonprofit space is funding. So, we also need to maintain the necessary funds so that we can operate at the capacity needed to get this work done. So it's
challenging white supremacy and getting funding. I can totally hear you with that for sure. Which then leads me to my next question, because people that are listening to this, I'm sure there's a need in wanting to get involved. And you spoke a little bit about the ballot and the petition, but tell us more. How can citizens be an agent of change in regards to APA?
So there are a few ways. You can send us an email, info@apa-pgh.org, or by calling us 412-256-8449. And also you can, when you email us or call us, make a request to be added by email, phone number. We do text banking. Sometimes we have an email list. And also we have, we just had our first relaunching of our community meetings last month. So we also have different working groups that people can be involved in. We have a policy and advocacy. Law and public policy, action and outreach, and education rights. Those are three, groups that we, just have working and pulling of volunteers, because when we have things that we need to get done, we need people.
Hands on deck. I feel that.
Yeah. And so also you can follow us on social media. We have our Facebook, the Alliance for Police Accountability. We're also on Instagram, APA-PGH. And we share just the work that we're involved in. Also, just your typical social media content to keep you updated on what's happening within the movement outside of, ultimately the global work of this space. And we have a website, www.apa-pgh.org.
Thank you. I have the newsletter. I'm signed up for the newsletter, but it's also good to know that I can give my phone number and get texts, because I know sometimes it's like, oh, there's a rally here, we're challenging this, or I got an email that we came to a town hall meeting, a virtual town hall meeting. So having like those last minute things come up, the opportunity to make your voice heard is really great.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I really appreciate learning so much more. Yeah, you guys do dope work. Keep it up. I know it's a struggle. I'm sure of it.
It's not the easiest, but when you do work that you're passionate about and is making a difference, and we also take breaks. We have to take care of ourselves, of course, but it's the most meaningful work that I've ever been a part of, and I'm thankful. And same with your work. I must say I'm such a fan of ATC. I have been going to your shows for years. So
that's awesome.
Yes, thank you so much for the work that you're doing with the youth and keeping them engaged, because our youth they are our future. I guess I really also didn't even mention that a lot of the work that we do is focused with our youth. You know, we want to bring them in because we know that they are the leaders in this fight. We have seen it through, you know, over these past few years and all the movements that have been happening. So, and the arts is a space that a lot of movement work comes from too. So, thank
100%.
you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
You're
you. Thank
welcome.
you. Till next time, girl.